The groovy 70s. A time of bell-bottoms, disco balls, and lava lamps. Strap on your platform shoes, let's take a trip down memory lane to explore the far-out things we missed from this iconic decade. From fashion to music, movies to TV, technology to activities, and everything in between, the 70s had a style and flair all its own. When it comes to fashion, the 70s had a flair for the flamboyant and the fabulously funky. Picture this: polyester shirts in vibrant colors with wide lapels, paired with bell-bottom jeans that hugged your thighs and flared out at the ankles. It was a time when men wore their hair long and ladies rocked their groovy flower power dresses. And let's not forget the accessories: chunky platforms, aviator sunglasses, love beads, puka shells, and the ultimate fashion statement, the mood ring. Now, let's groove to the beat of 70s music. It was a time when disco ruled the dance floor. We couldn't resist getting our groove on to the sounds of the Bee Gees, Donna Summer, and ABBA. But the 70s weren't just about disco. It also gave us the unforgettable rock anthems of Led Zeppelin, Queen, and Pink Floyd. The music was soulful, it was funky, and it had us strutting our stuff on the dance floor like there was no tomorrow. The 1970s brought us some of the most iconic movies in cinematic history. Star Wars? Yeah, we remember you. Groundbreaking Jaws. The iconic Rocky. It was a decade that gave birth to legendary characters like Darth Vader, Clint Eastwood's Dirty Harry, and The Godfather himself. From blockbusters to cult classics, the 70s had us glued to the silver screen, eagerly awaiting the next big adventure or heartwarming tale. Television in the 1970s was a smorgasbord of variety shows, sitcoms, and unforgettable characters. From the hilarious antics of the Brady Bunch, to the launch of Saturday Night Live, and all of those incredible stars, there was something for everyone. And who could resist the charm of Happy Days and the wild ride that was Charlie's Angels? Whether you were a fan of MASH or laughed along with The Muppet Show, TV in the 1970s was a constant source of laughter and excitement. And of course, the heartwarming and beloved Little House on the Prairie began its 10-year run in 1974. Now, let's talk technology. The 1970s brought us some groundbreaking inventions that shaped the world that we lived in. It was the decade that launched the VCR, allowing us to record our favorite TV shows and movies. Also, the birth of a video game industry with the release of Atari's Pong. Let's not overlook the iconic Sony Walkman, which let us take our music on the go. And of course, the disco ball, a revolutionary invention that turned any room into a groovy dance party. The 70s truly knew how to embrace the technological wonders of the time. When it came to activities, the 70s offered plenty of ways to have a good time. Roller skating was all the rage. We had colorful rinks filled with funky lights and tunes, could skate our hearts out with our friends, and if we were lucky, maybe even a date. And let's not forget the joy of playing arcade games like Space Invaders. Those simple yet addictive games kept us entertained for hours as we tried to beat high scores and get our initials posted on the screen. And speaking of games, who could resist the classic pastime of Twister? Those contortionist-like positions that we twisted ourselves into, laughing and stumbling all over each other. The 70s knew how to turn any gathering into a party. One of the most iconic features of the era was the lava lamp. A mesmerizing combination of liquid and light that created a soothing psychedelic display. It was like having a mini party right in your living room. And who could forget pet rocks? That's right, people actually bought rocks and kept them as pets. It's actually coming back today. It was a quirky fad that somehow captured our imagination and sense of humor. Another unique trend of the 1970s was hosting fondue parties. People gathered around a communal pot of broth, oil, melted cheese, or chocolate, skewered bite-sized treats, and indulged in a delicious gooey experience. It was a social gathering that brought friends and family together with a touch of culinary adventure. The 70s knew how to make ordinary activities a little more fun. In terms of sports, the 1970s saw some legendary athletes in action. Muhammad Ali and Mean Joe Green were just a couple of the greats that dominated their respective sports during this time. These athletes not only brought excitement, but they also invited people to pursue their dreams and push themselves to be their best. Let's not forget about the toys and games of the 70s either. Kids would spend hours playing with things like the Etch-a-Sketch, Light Bright, and the Easy Bake Oven. Board games like Monopoly and Clue were also pretty popular. These toys and games provided endless hours of entertainment, and they helped to foster creativity and imagination. So there you have it, folks. The 1970s, a decade filled with fashion-forward trends, infectious music, iconic movies and TV shows, pioneering technology, exciting activities, unique style, and quirky elements that just made it a truly memorable time in history. Whether you lived through it all or you just admire it from afar today, the 1970s had a special magic that continues to captivate us now. So, dust off your disco ball, crank up those retro tunes, and let's keep the spirit of the 1970s alive today. Thanks for watching, Memory Mountain. If you enjoyed this video, please click to subscribe to our channel and hit that thumbs up button. Be sure to tap the notification bell so you'll be one of the first to know when we post our next story looking back over the landscape of Americana. And if you really like what you see, we'd be honored if you'd click to join as a member of our channel, where you'll get exclusive benefits and an increased voice in the videos you will see.